Hey there, I hope you're having a good day. I was in the studio today kind of trying to figure out what other videos I could make for you guys. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have been making a lot of videos lately with just quick watercolor tips and fun stuff to do. And so I got a different idea today. Hi, I'm Margaret with Sacramento Art Classes, and I want to do a quick demo for you about how to paint really transparent colors, almost like an X-ray, so you can almost see through things. And I hope you like it. And if you do, stick around until the end of the video because I want to talk about 2 free giveaways that I have for you. So let's get started. Okay, for this video, we're going to work with transparency like I mentioned. And so I have pre-mixed some quinacridone rose or red. I can't remember which one I picked here. And I'm going to use a number 8 round. If you're more comfortable with a smaller brush, that's completely fine. You can draw your image first, but I would keep your pencil marks as light as possible. I'm going to try it without pencil marks just because I'd rather have that kind of a look going. And what I'm going to do is just draw or paint on some flower petal shapes. Sorry, there's a little hair in there, a piece of lint. And you have to go quick with this unless you maybe are in a colder place. Maybe it's winter, but it's pretty hot day where I am, and my studio is always hot. So it's okay for me to be doing it on dry paper as long as I can paint quickly. But if you feel like you need more time, go ahead and pre-wet these and do them wet into wet. So just with clear water first, and then add your color in afterwards. I'm just kind of thinking in my head that I'm going to create a sort of a poppy. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. Okay, let's get this guy up close here. And I like to make all these a little bit different from each other because it makes the flower more exciting that way. Sometimes you see these done where the edges are way stronger or darker, almost like an outline. But I feel like it's just more elegant and delicate if you don't outline it, but try it both ways. So let's let this dry for a minute, and then we're going to come back and add some more. Also, sorry, please notice I did not let any of these petals touch up against each other because I don't want them to run together. So when you do yours, keep them separate initially. And let's dry this and I'll come back in a sec. Okay, that's nice and dry. So I'm going to continue the same process. Now we've got the target right here. This is the center of our flower. So all your petals need to come down and into this general area here. Okay, so this time we're going to have some overlapping ones, and you can start them wherever you want. So you'll see that as they overlap those first guys, you will have, of course, a slightly darker value of your paint. Value is lightness to darkness. So where it's just a single layer on the watercolor paper, it's lighter, and where it has a second layer or glaze or wash, they're all interchangeable, it becomes a little darker. So here we can kind of have fun with these. Again, trying to come back towards that center and try to have as few brush marks as possible on the second round here because you don't want to disrupt that first layer of paint from those first 3 petals that you did. You don't want to disrupt that too much. So let me see here. I got to think about this for a second. How do I want my flower to go? How about we just have a little skinny guy over here? So there's just a little bit of overlap there. And just like before, after you get the next batch, then we're going to let it dry or hit it with your heat gun or your hair dryer. So we'll do that. I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have to start thinking a little bit 3-dimensionally. We are seeing maybe the flower is kind of like a cup. It's kind of, let's say it's opening up a little bit, maybe like that. So some of the petals that we put on here, they're going to appear to be a little bit shorter because they're closer to us. Let's let this guy come all the way down. And still we're joining everybody back up in the middle. And we're also remembering to keep them from touching. How about a skinnier guy here? We don't want the wet ones to touch each other because it won't matter too much since we're using the same color, but it's just more interesting if you can keep them apart. And now some portions of this flower will have 3 layers of glaze, and some will have 2 and some will just have 1. So I'm going to give us one last petal over here. Maybe it's skinnier and kind of drooping down a little bit wider maybe. Okay, let's dry that. Okay, For the next part, we're going to start working on the center here. Now you might wonder, why didn't I do the center before I overlaid these last flat petals here? And that's because the center, I'm going to have it be a little bit darker. So I'm going to take a little bit of my blue and red. There's a blue already on my palette, and give myself kind of a purpley, maybe purpley blue magenta color. If I were to put this first and then overlay a pink petal on top of it, chances are this would move and blur into everything. And I'm just going to invent something. I don't have a picture in front of me, so I'm just thinking, okay, well, if there was a flower middle, I'll have maybe some guys come up like this. You know, those little things that pollen comes, you know, attaches to. I don't remember the name of the parts. Maybe, is it stamen? Okay, so there's a couple of them, and let's go ahead and extend it down into kind of a base here that comes outside. So all the flower petals are sprouting from this base right here, or this pod maybe. And then you can get that, let that pod carry on down and become a stem. Then let's dry this again. Okay, so that's another layer in the middle, right? And that gives it that depth. If you want even a little bit more depth to it, you can have even darker parts of the stem. So I'm taking just a little bit more blue from my palette, and maybe I just want to, you know, kind of accentuate this lower part here somehow. You can drop it in while it's still wet, or you can wait for it to dry. Maybe I'll just hit this edge here, just a little bit. And it may bleed into the stem. If it does, that's kind of cool. You're just experimenting. Remember, this is just a little test kind of play thing. Let's draw some of that down. Okay, so just a fun way to work and play around with transparency. If you liked this, please comment or give me a like, or maybe even follow my page. And if you're watching this on YouTube, if you look in the description, you can get, I have a couple of freebies. I have a supply list that I've curated over the last 25 years of teaching, and there are a lot of clickable links in there. Or you could, if you're watching it on Facebook, if you comment the word supply in the comments, then I will send you that free supply list. And also there's another video that I'll link for you, which is about controlling water in your paintings, water and paint, and it just really changes everything for you in watercolors. So I hope you like this. Thanks for watching and have a great day.